Jai Gurudev. So is everybody up to speed? So we'll read from page 272. Who's going to start?
I can read.
I can read.
Next page you read.
Okay.
Vasistha continued. What is known as this samsara, world appearance, is but the original dream of the jiva, the first person. The dream of the jiva is not like the dream of a human being. The former's dream is experienced as the wakeful state. Hence it is that the wakeful state is considered a dream. The jiva's long dream is instantly materialized, though it is unreal and unsubstantial. The jiva goes from one dream to another within that dream. The entire universe appears in the one ocean of cosmic consciousness. In that universe dwell 14 types of beings. This universe has already had Yama and others as its presiding deities. They have established the tenets of right conduct. However, when people become predominantly sinful, Yama, the god of death, sometimes engages himself in meditation for some years, during which the population increases and explodes. The gods, frightened by this population explosion, resort to various devices to reduce it. All this has happened again and again, countless times. The present ruler, Yama, is Vaivasvata. He too will have to perform meditation for some time. When, on account of that, the population of the earth will multiply very fast, all the gods will appeal to Lord Vishnu to come to their aid. He will incarnate as Lord Krishna, along with his alter ego named Arjuna. His elder brother will be Yudhishthir, or the son of Dharma, who will be the embodiment of righteousness. His cousin Duryodhan will fight a duel with Bhim, Arjun's brother. In this battle between cousins, 18 divisions of armed forces will be killed, and thus will Vishnu dispose of the burden of the earth. Krishna and Arjun will play the roles of simple human beings. When Arjuna sees that the armies on both sides are composed of his own kinsmen, he will become despondent and will refuse to fight. At that time, Lord Krishna will instruct him in the highest wisdom and bring about a spiritual awakening in him. He will tell Arjun, this self is neither born nor does it die. It is eternal and is not killed when this body is killed. He who thinks that it kills or that it is killed, he is ignorant. How, why, and by whom is this infinite being, which is one without a second, and which is subtler than space, destroyed? Arjun, behold the self which is infinite, unmanifest, eternal, and which is of the nature of pure consciousness and untainted. You are unborn and eternal. When the Lord will thus instruct Arjun, the latter will say, Lord, my delusion is gone. I have attained an awakening of intelligence through your grace. Arjun will then engage himself in the conduct of the war as if in a play.
Okay. What is known as this samsara, world appearance, is but the original dream of the jiva, the first person. The dream of the jiva is not like the dream of a human being. The former means the jiva. The former's dream is experienced as the wakeful state. Hence, it is that the wakeful state is considered a dream. The jiva's long dream is instantly materialized, though it is unreal and unsubstantial. The jiva goes from one dream to another within that dream. So we have studied earlier that how we came out of that pool of consciousness. Yeah, the first jiva that came out manufactured that first level of dream. Yeah. Now you've watched Inception, right? There is one dream, and inside that there is another level of a dream. Yeah, and inside that there is a third level of a dream. Yeah, and the time zones in each of these dreams are different. Yes, that entire concept has been taken from the sutras of Yoga Vasistha. Yeah, it is a dream within a dream, within a dream, within a dream, within a dream. So we are all jivas. Yeah? We are in each other's dream. Yeah? We don't know whose dream is before and whose dream is afterwards and a little lower. We don't know that. These are just different levels of dreams within a dream that we are in. Yeah? Now the second aspect to this is this wakeful state is similar to the dream that you have at night when you lie down and sleep. The difference is when you are in bed, you are in the state of deep sleep. And this dream is happening with eyes wide open. You are in a wakeful state. Yeah? But it is still not the awakened state, which is Turiya Avastha. Yeah? This is just the wakeful state of the body. But this is also a dream. So when in the night, actually, when you dream, inside the dream of the wakeful state, there is this second level of dream which happens to the same jiva. Yeah? And has it sometimes happened to you that in your dream, you're dreaming that you are dreaming? Has that happened? You are dreaming in the night and you're dreaming that you are dreaming. So even in the dream, you can be at different levels, a dream within a dream. Yeah? The similar state that happens in the night happens in the daytime. This is already a dream, yeah, and sometimes it's a very boring job, very mundane job that you are doing, and you're just staring into infinity, and you are somewhere lost. Have you noticed that? That getting lost also is a dream-like state. So even in this wakeful state, you can get into a different level of a dream, which becomes a dream within a dream. You got what I'm saying? It's not too confusing, right? Yeah. So these levels of dreams we ourselves experience. Yeah. The only difference is this is wakeful state, and in the night is the deep sleep state. When any sage tells you to wake up, go beyond, he's telling you to go beyond both these states. The deep sleep state also you have to surpass, and you have to surpass this wakeful state also. That's why this wakeful state is actually just the wakeful state of this physical body. It's not the awakened state. Yeah? The awakened state is called Turiya Avastha. Yes? Now even that awakened state is not pure. There is a Turiya Atita. Got it? So even when you have to get out of this cycle of birth and death, you have to surpass these different levels of dream-like state and go beyond. That state beyond is Turiya Atita Avastha. Yeah? That is why that last line is important. The jiva goes from one dream to another within that dream. This is the meaning of that. Yeah? While coming into the samsara also, I come down from one dream into another dream, into another dream. I go deeper and deeper in my dream. while getting liberated from this samsara also, I have to go past all these dreams and go beyond. Yeah? Only the direction of the journey is opposite. While coming into the samsara, you are going deeper into the dreams. While leaving the samsara, you are getting out of the dreamlike state. The entire universe appears in the one ocean of cosmic consciousness. In that universe dwell 14 types of beings. So these 14 types of yonis that you probably have taken, or you will take a few after leaving this yoni also. Yeah. These yonis are also levels of dreamlike state. The dreamlike state is thicker and more gross at the talas level. When you were in the talas, patala was the most gross dreamlike state. Yeah. Then higher than that was all talatala, mahatala, coming up to sutala, and amongst the talas, the lightest dreams was atala. Yeah. Now from here we have come to the other higher side, which is the lokas. We are still in the dreamlike state, but at least we have surpassed the lower tala levels and come to the loka level. Yeah? We are at the lowest step of the lokas. Yeah? But we can go to a higher yoni. Yeah? So when we leave this body, this physical body, we go into a pitra yoni. Yeah? When we go higher than pitra lokas, if we have better karmas, we go to a deva yoni, which will be in the Swarga Loka. And that's how you keep progressing. Your yonis also keep progressing. The yoni you take is an indication of the level of dream you are in. So there are the 14 levels of the dreams, and the lighter you become, the higher you rise through these dreamlike yonis, or the dreamlike 14 states.
So our karma has So our karma has a direct relationship with the level of the dream state that we're in.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the more gross my karma is, the more I am stuck in vasana, I am going to be in the lower levels. Lower levels are of high sexual vasanas, or vasanas to kill, to hurt another living being, just selfishness. These are the lower talas, and those are the kind of yonis. And those yonis are the dreamlike state, nothing else it is. And that is determined by my lower karmas. As I do better karmas, I raise my consciousness higher, I get away from the negativities that probably we had in the past janmas. We don't know. It takes 84,000 lifetimes to reach here, to get into this Manushya Yoni, which also understands knowledge. You could have been in another 8 to 10,000 Manushya Yonis before this, possible. Yeah? But those 8 to 10,000 or 15,000 Manushya Yonis, you could be just selfish and zero spirituality, totally lost in ignorance. Yeah? So within the 14 levels, even inside one particular level, there are levels of dreams. Yeah? So in one of the Shastras, it is actually each of the 14 is divided into 14 each again. Yeah? So they have said that there are so many levels of dreams in one yoni as well. Yeah? And all is equivalent to my karma. This universe has already had Yama and others as its presiding deities. They have established the tenet of right conduct. However, when people become predominantly sinful, Yama, the god of death, sometimes engages himself in meditation for some years, during which the population increases and explodes. Yeah. What does this mean? Basically, there is a beginning and end, but which is only for our instruction and understanding. This entire universe is actually beginningless and endless. Yeah? Just like we cannot say there's a proper beginning of this universe, you cannot say there is an end. There's no complete annihilation of all living beings. That's why if you remember a few hundred pages ago, we did the story of the crow. And that crow had survived the deluge, and he said he has seen 6 such creations. Yes? So that means if you are at a highly enlightened and evolved state, you do not die. The deluge does not affect all souls. Recognize this. It just affects the most sinful souls. So that's why here Yama, he goes into meditation, and there is this explosion of the sinful population. Remember they said that? However, when people become predominantly sinful. Yeah, and what is the meaning of predominantly sinful? Remember we had done the yugas? Remember? Yajur, no? Nothing? Satyuga and Kalyug and
Treta.
Treta and Dwapar. Good. So you remember the 4 yugas we've done. Yeah. And what does he mean by when they become predominantly sinful? Which Kalyug. When in Kalyug you have maximum sinful souls, or really gross level, when the Atala, Patala, Vitala, Sutala, all that talas become really heavily populated. That is the time where everything is just destroyed. Yeah. Again, this brings up a question which Prashanjit asked me yesterday, that if everything, all these people become destroyed, they didn't go through their all karmas. So it is really unfair. Yeah? Well, that is the magic of Maya. Yeah? Just like Maya begins and you come out of that pool of consciousness and there is no valid cause to it, no valid reasoning for it, like that only, there is no valid reasoning for the end of certain jivas. Again, remember this, not all jivas end or die. Yeah? That deluge itself must be such a bad karma for those jivas to experience. It probably, that suffering of that deluge, might be a payback for all their previous karmas. We don't know. Yeah. So just like it is beginningless and causeless, like that only it is endless and causeless. There is no valid explanation that you can find for it. Yeah. The gods, frightened by this population explosion, resort to various devices to reduce it. All this has happened again and again, countless times. The present ruler, Yama, is Vasistha. He too will have to perform meditation for some time. When, on account of that, the population of the earth will multiply very fast, all the gods will appeal to Lord Vishnu to come to their aid. He will incarnate as Lord Krishna, along with his alter ego named Arjuna. His elder brother will be Yudhishthira, or the son of Dharma, who will be the embodiment of righteousness. His cousin Duryodhana will fight a duel with Bhima, Arjuna's brother. In this battle between cousins, 18 divisions of armed forces will be killed, and thus will Vishnu dispose of the burden on the earth. Just an example. Yeah? Like the war of Mahabharata killed lots of jivas, almost like ending that yuga. Yeah? Like that, only our world wars killed a lot of jivas. Yes. So when does this war or this ending happen? When the sin really rises a lot. This is just a story. In a story form, it has been explained to you that this keeps repeating. Lord Krishna will come with another name. Arjuna will come with another name. There will be another reason for a war. There will be another reason for the end. Yeah, but it's not like the end of all living beings. It's not a complete annihilation. Yeah, understand that one thing clearly. Krishna and Arjuna will play the roles of simple human beings. When Arjuna sees that the armies on both sides are composed of his own kinsmen, he will become despondent and will refuse to fight. At that time, Lord Krishna will instruct him in the highest wisdom and bring about a spiritual awakening in him. He will tell Arjuna, "This self is neither born nor does it die. It is eternal and is not killed when the body is killed. He who thinks that it kills or that it is killed is ignorant. How, why, and by whom is this infinite being, which is one without a second, and which is subtler than space, destroyed? Arjuna, behold the self which is infinite, unmanifest, eternal, and which is of the nature of pure consciousness and untainted. You are unborn and eternal." When the Lord will thus instruct Arjuna, the latter will say, "Lord, my delusion is gone. I have attained an awakening of intelligence through your grace." Arjuna will then engage himself in the conduct of the war as if in a play.
Except it took 18 chapters to get to this point. Quick summary.
Well, in the shlokas, in the Sanskrit one, it has many more verses, and they are exactly as the Lord Krishna had quoted in Sanskrit. So there are many more verses, not in one paragraph, but yes, pretty short. About 17 verses are there. 17, 18 verses are there. Cool? Can move ahead.
Yep, I'll continue. Vasistha continued, "Equip yourself with such an attitude, O Rama, and remain unattached, endowed with the spirit of renunciation and with the realization that whatever you do or you experience is an offering to the omnipresent being Brahman. Then you will realize the truth, and that is the end of all doubts. That is the supreme state. It is the guru of all gurus. It is the self, it is the light that illumines the world from within. It is the reality in all substances, that which endows the substances with their essential characteristic. The notion of world arises only when the spirit of inquiry is absent. But I am before the world was. How then do the notions of world, etc., bind me? He who has thus realized the truth is free from all beginnings and all endings. he who is thus equipped with the spirit of non-duality, as if he is in deep sleep, though awake, is not disturbed, though actively engaged in life. Such a person is liberated here and now. What appears to be the world here is truly the magic, the work of the infinite consciousness. There is no unity here, nor is there duality. My instructions too are of the same nature. The words, their meaning, the disciple, the wish, or the effort of the disciple, and the Guru's ability in the use of the words, all these are also the play of the energy of the infinite consciousness. In the peace of one's own inner being, consciousness vibrates and the world vision arises. If that consciousness does not vibrate, there will be no world vision. The mind is but the movement in consciousness. The non-realization of this truth is world vision. Non-realization of this truth intensifies and aggravates the movement of thought and consciousness. Thus a cycle is formed. Ignorance and mental activity are perpetuated by each other. When the inner intelligence is awakened, the craving for pleasure ceases. This is the nature of the wise. In him, this cessation of craving for pleasure is therefore natural and effortless. He knows that it is the energy of the self that experiences the experiences. He who, in order to please the public, refuses to experience what is to be experienced, he indeed beats the air with a stick. One attains self-knowledge by sometimes using appropriate means. Desire for liberation interferes with the fullness of the self. Absence of such desire promotes bondage. Hence, constant awareness is to be preferred. The sole cause for bondage and liberation is the movement of consciousness. Awareness of this ends this movement. The ego sense ceases the very moment one observes it, for it has no support any longer. Then who is bound by whom, or who is liberated by whom?
Okay. So Vasistha tells him the story, and just like Arjuna is awakened, he says his intelligence is awakened. Just like that, Vasistha is advising Rama, you remain like him, unattached. Yeah, you follow Arjuna's example. If you have to fight, you drop your attachment to this world, to your family, to your kith and kin, and fight. Do that which is your dharma. Simple. And what was the main thing Lord Krishna told him? These people are already dead. I have already killed them. Yeah? You have to just go and perform an action and surrender that action. There's a very deep hidden meaning in it. If you start living your life like that already this action is done. It is already completed. There is a chain of cause, effect, which has led to this moment where you and I are sitting in front of each other and discussing this. If you look at it from an eagle's eye view, cause, effect, this action is already completed. The effect has already been decided. Whether it goes into your head or it goes tangent has already been decided. So you drop the attachment to this action and drop the attachment to the fruit of this action. You just do it because it is a cause, effect, and this is the effect of a previous cause. That's it. No attachment to the action, no attachment to the result of this action. This is the attitude that Vasistha is advising Rama to adopt. He's saying, equip yourself with such an attitude, O Rama, and remain unattached, endowed with the spirit of renunciation. and with the realization that whatever you do or experience is an offering to the omnipresent being. Anyway, the cause effect has been decided. Anyway, the ball is coming rolling. Yeah? Let me do this particular action like an instrument. Nimitta matra. Yeah? And how is an instrument? Does an instrument say that I want this or I don't want this? No, an instrument is absolutely hollow, empty. It lets God play the music that God wants to play. Like that only you just become an instrument for the object of this cause effect to roll through you and move on to the next, whatever effect has to come in future. Yeah? You remain unattached. Then you will realize the truth, and that is the end of all doubts. Our problem is we say, no, I want to understand the truth first. I want my doubts to go away first, and then I will offer my action. Then I will become unattached. He says, no, it doesn't work like that. There is a condition that God has already put down, and the condition is first you offer your action and result of action. First, you become unattached. And when you achieve that level where you are not attached, you achieve a different kind of a sight. You can see things the way others cannot. And that is where you realize the truth as it is. You cannot attain that sight till you are attached to people, situations, things, even thinking this particular action I have to do, otherwise how will the next effect happen? This is also attachment. Yeah? Oh, I have to go and sit and do yoga Vasistha, I have to read. No, this is an attachment. I have to just be here, that's it. I have to be present. Action will happen through me. If I become hollow and empty like a flute, the music will play through me. Provided I become hollow and empty. Yeah? You are saying what? No, first the music should play through me and then I'm going to become hollow and empty. It doesn't work. Yeah? It doesn't make sense. Get it? So drop attachment to every action that you do.
Like you just said, right? Drop all the attachments. So for the longest time, how do you let go? Like, how do you drop attachment? That was the biggest question that was like, engulfing me and probably a lot of others there too. Like, how do you do it? Like, but in the past few months or 1 year, as we have gone deeper, that let go has a very different resonance to it. Like you don't need to, that how does not come up. You know how to do it, you just don't know that you have to do it, but you're not doing it. The how does not come up. Like somehow that, I think in the last line, you just observe and it will drop off.
True. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Completely makes sense. There is no how to it really. There is an inner skill that you will develop. Yeah? And everybody has a different way to reach that point. Everybody has a different skill. Though the destination is the same, everybody's journey is different, and that journey itself is your personal skill. Yeah? How you become empty is totally up to you. That cannot be explained. If I explain to you how Ekta becomes empty, it won't make sense to you. Your procedure to become empty is totally different than Ekta's procedure to become empty. Yeah, because we are filled by different things, filled by different vasanas, and those vasanas have their own kind of weight. Yeah, and you have your own kind of intelligence, I have my own kind of intelligence to reach there. And in addition to intelligence, you have your own kind of bhava, emotion, that rules over your vasanas and rules over that intelligence. And probably bhava can work to take you there. And I have my own kind of bhava. Maybe my bhava is very low. Yeah? And maybe yours is high. That is why your path to it is only your individual path. Nobody else can pave it for you. That's why it's called an inner sukshma kaushalyam. Sukshma is subtle, kaushalyam is skill. It's an inner subtle skill, and it varies from jiva to jiva to jiva to jiva. Yeah? Only you can figure out how you can drop it. Yeah? So make that effort, because unless you start making that effort, it's not happening, boss. Yeah? By reading, it's not going to happen. By questioning how, it's not going to happen. An inner sincere effort is required, and that effort will start only if you sincerely have the thirst. For example, if I am thirsty, I will really make an effort to pick up the glass of water, drink the water. But if I am not thirsty only, how much ever I hear about water, how much ever you talk about water, I will not make that effort to pick up that glass and drink. Are you understanding what I'm saying? That thirst is essential. So really, question number one for you, you look within. Do you have that thirst still? And really, how thirsty are you? You know, when you're not too thirsty, you just swallow your spit and you're fine. Yeah, it's chalta hai, I can manage. Yeah, but like when your thirst is that deep thirst, and it's like, boss, nothing less than water is going to suffice now. And I need really a big glass of water. When you have that kind of a thirst, that thirst will really make you find that inner sukshma skill that I'm talking about. This skill will not develop with lukewarm thirst. Yeah? It has to be like that really parched thirst inside, that I can do anything for this kind of a thirst. Then only will you start that inner journey of finding that skill. Got it? And the moment you find that skill, it's indescribable, cannot be put in words. Things just lose their meaning. Vasanas drop off as if your external skin kind of drops off when it's dead. Like that. You don't have to make an effort to drop things. They drop off. It's as simple as that. Yeah? So your homework number one is that. Recognize, do you have that thirst? And is it like that really parching, killing kind of thirst? Or is it like chalta hai kind of okay type of thirst? You recognize. That is the supreme state. It is the Guru of all Guru. It is the Self. It is the light that illumines the world from within. It is the reality in all substances, that which endows the substances with their essential characteristic. The notion of world arises only when the spirit of inquiry is absent. So the thirst that I was talking about is very akin to that spirit of inquiry. Because there is thirst, that spirit of inquiry begins, that search within begins. Yeah? The spirit of inquiry does not begin if you don't have the thirst. Yeah? And the thirst begins how? From recognizing the futility of the samsara. You have run behind relationships and realized, oh, there is really no pleasure in this. Maybe a glimpse of reality comes to you. Yes, I crave for sexual pleasure, but sexual pleasure is not long lasting. It's not equal to eternal happiness. It's momentary. When you run behind name, or fame, you get it. And then you experience that, oh, it's so short-lived. It's not that ananda, that bliss that I'm really craving for. I'm really craving for more. But name and fame stop short of that highest bliss that I am looking for. This might happen just like one moment. It might come like a flash and then just go away because you're so lost in Maya, no? You again get lost in the same name, fame. You run behind money. Oh, money. I want 6-figure salary. I want 7-figure salary. You get lots of money. You have so much in the bank. You have so much in the house. You have everything possible. You still experience some kind of a poverty inside. That poverty hurts. When you wear the best of diamonds and you are in the best car and in the best clothes and you still feel empty inside. Again, this emptiness, this poverty inside flashes for a second. It's not going to be there all the time. All the time the chakmak of wealth will be there. The glittering diamonds and glittering wealth will blind you. Just for a moment you see that reality that I'm feeling so poor inside. That poverty is that spark of thirst. Yeah. Similarly, you keep running behind all other vasanas, whatever. I'll get something from WhatsApp, from the praise of other people, from company of friends, from status in society, social circle. Run. The same small talk, the same conversations just for the sake of it, the same show off, and then you feel very hollow and empty and useless inside, even after all that. Yeah, but the mind is very cunning. It covers that also up very soon, says, no, you're simply feeling depressed. Do you want to go to a psychiatrist? You're talking all depressive things. Come on, pull yourself out of it. This world is very beautiful. Enjoy. Again, you get lost in Maya. So really these flashes or glimpses come very rarely. Yeah? Only a wise one catches on to them. Recognizes, boss, this is it. This is the truth. That is what ignites the thirst. So if you are all on this spiritual path, there was this spark, this flash that happened to you. You don't know when it was. Maybe in this lifetime, maybe in the previous lifetime. Yeah? Or so many lifetimes ago. That made you search for something higher. Yeah? That sparked the thirst, and that thirst sparks the spirit of inquiry that Vasistha is talking about here. Got it? He says the notion of world arises only when the spirit of inquiry is absent. Yeah, when the spirit of inquiry is not there, you are lost in this Maya. Everything makes sense. Name, fame, money, sex, relationships, social status, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, you get lost in this world. No spirit of inquiry. Yeah? The moment there is spirit of inquiry, then all this Maya takes a back seat. But I am before the world was. How then do the notions of world, etc. bind me? He who has thus realized the truth is free from all beginnings and all endings. How do you realize this truth? When you start recognizing, oh, this is only Maya and this pleasure is temporary. That is the truth. There is no greater truth you are going to find. But the same truth, when not just in words from an external source, but when they convert to an internal realization, that's when they really light you up. And you're like, oh, what was I running behind? What nonsense was I doing? Yeah? Then there is no going back. When that inner candle has lit, then you can lead the path. See, till when you cannot see anything, when there is no inner light, then you need a master, a guru, a teacher to show you the path. Yeah? That also remember, the guru just has one little candle. How far is that light going to go? Beyond a point, it's going to be dark again. So you see light only around the guru. That is why when you go away from your spiritual sangha, you get lost in the Maya and awareness goes down. Noticed? Means there is no light. That is why you feel lost and then you come back into satsang, you come back to kriya, you come back to yoga vasistha, and again then you can see a little light. That little light again helps you chisel your awareness. You start walking again. But again, the moment you walk away, again you're drowning in darkness. And this keeps happening. This process keeps repeating till the day you actually realize, I have to do something about it. I cannot walk on a borrowed lantern. It has to be my inner light that needs to come on now. And that's where you really make that inner effort. You find that skill and you light your own lamp. Now you don't need a guru. You don't need a teacher. Now you can walk because your light is lit. Are you getting this, or am I too poetic today? Yeah. So you have to work on lighting your lamp. He who has thus realized the truth is free from all beginnings and all endings. He who is thus equipped with the spirit of non-duality, as if he is in deep sleep though awake, is not disturbed though actively engaged in life. Such a person is liberated here and now. The rest is very clear. Yeah, only that part is difficult. He who is thus equipped with the spirit of non-duality, Advaitam happens because you realize the futility of Maya, yeah, and that futility of Maya altogether you drop. You drops. There is only I. Yeah, so there is no more Dvaitam. That I is also not the I of this physical body, mind, ego complex. It is that Purusha, it is that light. Yeah? That light is in all beings, but candle bujha hua hai. Yeah? It's not lit. Yeah? It's a wick where the flame is not there. But they are all wicks all around you. Yeah? They are all lost in the darkness. You with your little candle can light their wicks, yeah, but it will still be your flame, yeah? And it will go off the moment they go away from you. They have to learn that to light their own little wicks. Yeah? So you recognize this. If the thirst is less in me, I will not be able to start walking the path of self-inquiry. And if I do not start walking the path of self-inquiry, lighting that little flame within me is an impossibility. Forget about it. Then whole life I'm going to be doing this drama. Till the time I'm in that circle of light of a guru or a teacher, I feel good. The moment I'm a little far away from that circle, I'm lost in the darkness of Maya. And I'll keep dancing between the Maya and light and Maya and light. That is why maximum people are stuck, even though they are on the spiritual path, because they don't make their own inner effort, they do not experience progress. Getting it? What appears to be the world here is truly the magic, the work of the infinite consciousness. There is no unity here, nor is there duality. My instructions too are of the same nature. The words, their meaning, the disciple, the wish, or the effort of the disciple, and the Guru's ability in the use of the words, all these are also the play of the energy of the infinite consciousness. In the peace of one's own inner being, consciousness vibrates and the world vision arises. If that consciousness does not vibrate, there will be no world vision. So beautifully this has been explained. Yeah, that it is all Brahman consciousness. It is just a play of that consciousness. That's it. Everything. The moment a guru opens up completely to that consciousness flows through the guru in the form of words into the disciple's ears and becomes that knowledge. That knowledge helps that disciple light that spark within him. Maybe he manages to light a little flame and he reaches the highest consciousness. This whole game is just the game of that consciousness. Yeah? There is no guru, there is no disciple, there is no words, there is no knowledge. It is just magic of that one consciousness. That's all there is, just that one consciousness. You and I do not exist. Yeah? Just like in your dream. When you sleep in the night, you see so many things. You might see mountains and sea and animals and pigeons and hens and you and so many other people, and really nothing is there. None of it exists really. But it seems so real. Exactly like that. This seems so real to us, but none of it exists. It is just magic. Yeah?
What happens in the night? Does the car, not all the time dreams come. So most of the time maybe you don't know anything. So that time the consciousness is vibrating or not?
Of course there is. Okay. When you are sleeping in the night, you alternate between dream state and deep sleep state. In dream state, you are obviously dreaming. In deep sleep state, you are totally unconscious. There is no awareness. Yeah? In between a dream state, in between two dream states, if there is a deep sleep state, this deep sleep state makes you forget this dream. So this dreaming state may lead to early morning waking up directly. Then you remember this dream. Yeah? sometimes even this dream is not there. There is a deep sleep state and you suddenly wake up and you feel, oh, the whole night I did not dream. No, a deep sleep state is like an eraser. And a dreaming state is like writing on this board. I write something in my dreamlike state, and in my deep sleep state, I erase it. Again, I go into a dreamlike state, I write something. Again, I go into a deep sleep state, I erase it. So if I wake up in the morning, immediately after a deep sleep state, I feel I have not dreamt. But which is not true. Yeah? It's just been erased by the deep sleep state. Consciousness is constantly vibrating. Yeah? That vibration is inherent in consciousness. That is why the I exists. Yeah? You cannot stop the ripples from rippling in the lake.
After death?
Huh? You were on mute and suddenly you came on unmute, so we didn't hear your full question.
Even after death?
Even after death?
The consciousness is vibrating?
Yes, because death is only of this body. Yeah, you are confusing yourself thinking that you are this body. You are not this body. You are just in this body for now. For these 40, 50, 60, 80 years, whatever. This lifespan. You get out of this body, you get into another body. Just consciously, the consciousness is constantly vibrating. Yeah? The prana is there all the time. With the pranic body, you are going to move out of the physical body. Prana is equal to vibration. So you are constantly vibrating all the time. Got it? The mind is but the movement in consciousness. This gives you a clue that even if this physical body dies, yeah, the mind is still there. The mind sees the body is dead, it's on the floor, people are cremating the body, it's burning, and the mind is very aware, oh, I am dead, I have to move on. Yeah? So, the mind is but the movement in consciousness. The mind is constantly just that movement in consciousness which says, I like, I don't like, oh, what is this happening to me? All this will continue even after this body falls. That's why it is said, no, you do not die. The body dies, but you do not die. The non-realization of this truth is world vision. Non-realization of this truth intensifies and aggravates the movement of thought in consciousness. Now, because you don't realize this truth, you think this body is real and you are lost in this world vision. This body is this world. Yeah? You are lost in this world vision because of this non-realization. Thus, a cycle is formed. Ignorance and mental activity are perpetuated by each other. Because I am ignorant, I don't understand, so I am lost more in this Maya. The more I am lost in this Maya, the more ignorant I become. So it feeds into each other. Ignorance feeds into me getting more and more lost. Me getting more and more lost is feeding into ignorance. And me getting lost is nothing but my mental activity. Constant attachment to people, situations and things. When the inner intelligence is awakened, the craving for pleasure ceases. This is the nature of the wise. In him, the cessation of craving for pleasure is therefore natural and effortless. Highlight this. This is the most important point. What? The craving for pleasure drops off how? Naturally and effortlessly. So homework number 2 for you. Since you have started walking this path, many cravings must have fallen off. Yeah, many aversions must have fallen off. Lots of raga, dvesha that you had in the past is not there anymore. Now look at those that have dropped off. Did you suppress them? Did you force yourself to let go? Or was that natural? Was that effortless? It just dropped off. Is there even one raga and dvesha that you know that you definitely have dropped in these past 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, how many ever years? Yeah? So that itself gives you a clue that it is natural. It is effortless. Your own experience is your teacher here. Boss, I really craved for this thing or this person, and that craving is not there anymore. Aha. So it is a natural phenomena, yeah, which should give you an idea that you should not try to suppress a raga or dvesha. So part 2 of that question, are you trying to suppress some raga or dvesha now? Just because you are on the spiritual path. A lot of people come up with different ideas. Oh, being on the spiritual path means I should not do this. Inside the vasanas boiling, I want to do it, I want to do it. No, I am on the spiritual path. I should not do this. But this is all a facade. Yeah? It's fake, it's not real. I'm wearing a mask. Inside me, the vasana is boiling like a volcano. One day it's going to erupt. Huh? So suppression is wrong. So homework number whatever is to check, am I suppressing any desires, and to let go of that suppression. Yeah, in fact, drown yourself into it. Yeah, go have your coffee, your whatever you're suppressing, whatever that vasana is, drown into it and see, is there pleasure in it? I was missing this, no, I was suppressing it. For so many days I didn't indulge in this. Let me indulge and see. Yeah? Go into it but with awareness. Full awareness. Let me be 100% aware while having this coffee or tea or whatever I was suppressing, and see, really, does this give me pleasure? And when you walk through that path with awareness, you will realize, oh, it's really futile. There is really no joy in it. And then you will not have to suppress anymore. You will just never ever again have that craving for coffee again. I just threw a coffee example. You apply it, whatever it is. A craving for that promotion, a craving for that beautiful $500 dress, or that car, or that watch, Rolex, whatever, your iPhone, whatever you're craving for. Yeah. Go indulge and see. Yeah. Come to a realization through your own experience. It will last longer, or it is everlasting actually. Yeah. Don't suppress. Let it be natural and effortless. He knows that it is the energy of the self that experiences the experiences. He who, in order to please the public, refuses to experience what is to be experienced, he indeed beats the air with a stick. Yeah, basically he's telling you, go through it. Yeah, don't bother about other people. Yeah, don't fake on this path. Be very, very authentic. Your authenticity on the spiritual path will determine your speed on the path. Authenticity is equal to speed on the spiritual path. The more authentic you are, the less fake you are, the more natural you are, the faster you grow. Yeah, and you really reach heights. The more you fake on this path, the longer you're going to take to reach the destination. Faking is equal to going round and round in circles. If you're standing in one place and going round and round, are you reaching anywhere? You're not. Yeah. So faking is for nursery kids. Yeah, for beginners, theek hai. You know, they're little kids, fake it. Yeah. You look pretty, you do a fancy dress competition. It's for kids. Yeah. How long can you be in that fancy dress and still enjoy it? After a certain maturity and authenticity is a must on the path. Yeah? Your authenticity will take you far. One attains self-knowledge by sometimes using appropriate means. These are appropriate means. Yeah? Be natural, be authentic. Desire for liberation interferes with the fullness of the self. Absence of such desire promotes bondage. Yeah, this is a very important line meant for those people who have attained that maturity. When you begin the path, you start with a desire, with a vasana. Vasana to be with the Guru, vasana to be in knowledge, vasana to practice, to meditate. There is a vasana, it's a desire, a craving. Yeah? Initially, to start the path, it is required. Yeah? To give you that speed, to give you that momentum on the spiritual path. Fantastic, great. When you reach a certain level on that path, yeah? When you complete graduation and you have to go into post-graduation class, now the eligibility criteria change. Now the eligibility criteria is to be able to drop even this desire for liberation. Yeah? Now you open up yourself and say, what is. Whatever you give is acceptable to me. Yeah? If it has to come my way, it will come my way. If it doesn't have to come, that is also fine. Teri raza mein main razi hu. Means I agree to whatever. Oh, I'm very bad at translating. Raza. Whatever you decide for me, I will accept that. It's not so much fun as it is in Hindi. Teri raza mein main razi hu. This is the eligibility criteria to even get into a postgraduate class or the postgraduate admission. So unless you can completely leave it to the divine, you cannot even enter this last step. Homework number 4 for you. Are you eligible? Have you been able to, just surrender to God? Whatever comes my way, acceptable. This, acceptable. That, acceptable. Not this, acceptable. Not that, acceptable. Whatever is. Do you have that kind of complete surrender? You ask yourself. This is your last homework for the day. Hence, constant awareness is to be preferred. The sole cause of bondage and liberation is the movement in consciousness. Awareness of this ends this movement. Yes, awareness of What? Constant awareness of what is and dropping what is not, because what is not is just a making of my mind. Just constant awareness of what is will end this movement in consciousness, this vibration in prana. If it ends the vibration in prana, it ends the world vision or ends the maya. The ego sense ceases the very moment one observes it, for it has no support any longer. So what is the support of your ego? Your non-awareness is support of the ego. You're not looking at it. You are lost in this maya, and that has become support for your ego. The moment you become very sharp, very aware, that sharpness of yours, makes the ego weak. It goes weak in its legs and it falls off. Then who is bound by whom, or who is liberated by whom? Ego drops, world vision drops. Once your world vision drops while being in this body, then this becomes your last journey. Then you do not come back in body. As in, you don't come back because of bondage. So the only way to burn all karmas in one strike is to be 100% aware. When you reach that 100% awareness, you have reached Turiya-avastha. And that is like one blow and all karmas are wiped off. Then you don't come back into body. So directly from Bhuloka Manushya Yoni, you will reach the highest loka, the Brahma Loka, the Satya Loka. But if your awareness is not chiseled enough, then you're going to be hovering in the lokas. And maybe if you're again getting lost in the grossest of maya, you may go back to the talas. So what can help you is only your awareness. There is just one sword. No other sword works. Only the sword of awareness can cut the ignorance. Cool? Any questions?
So when you were talking about the not suppressing, I think it also is important to understand that the moment you suppress something, there is a dirty feeling inside. Like, like in truth with our, in congruence with our vows, that you will feel that pinch. And there was like a couple of months ago, I shared something very personal with Ekta, and she helped me maneuver through that suppression that I was talking about. That the moment you suppress, you're just, there's a struggle, and that struggle is very dirty. The moment you say, okay, I'm open to this, then you won't feel like doing it, but then you're not struggling anymore.
Yes, perfect. It's that dirty feeling that he's talking about is actually an impurity in the inner environment. My inner environment is pure consciousness. It's like space. Pure space. And if I, pump some dirty gas into this space and make it all stinky and dirty, that's how you're going to feel inside. Stinky and dirty, impure with suppression. Because it's not true you are doing it just for pleasing the public. And our public has changed. Our public earlier was the material world public, and now it is the spiritual world public. Oh, I am so art of living. Oh, Jai Gurudev. See how you behave when you go to Boon Ashram. See, you will wear all white clothes, even if you are not a big white fan. You say Jai Gurudev. And see how you will speak. It's totally fake. It's not real. The moment you step out of the ashram, you feel, what a relief. Now I don't have to smile like that. What? That means you're suppressing your real nature for those few hours in the ashram. Just giving an example. I'm just throwing out an example. You see where you have started suppressing your natural self. Be natural, so what? Let people have an opinion. Yeah? Give them full freedom. When you give others full freedom to think what they want, you are actually giving yourself freedom to just be. Yeah, and that naturalness is amazing. It's like absolutely squeaky clean inside. The consciousness is squeaky clean. Yeah. So work on this if you have been suppressing something. Yeah, if you've been suppressing something on the spiritual path, or sometimes we are just suppressing, it's a personal thing. It's not something that we reveal to others. I just gave you a more revealing example because it helps you understand better. But when you're suppressing something personal, it hurts you only. You will be able to see that dirty impurity inside, and you will be at constant war with yourself. You will not be at peace. That not being at peace with yourself is the sign of impure inner environment. That not being at peace with yourself should give you an indication that you are suppressing something.
Can I ask a question? So, when something happens that doesn't meet your expectation, you were expecting something to happen, but something else happens that doesn't meet your expectation. It takes you a few minutes or some time to observe and say, okay, it didn't go. You're not reacting to it. It takes you time to accept that and be okay with it.
Yeah.
But it does come up, but eventually it will subside. Some small things will take just a few minutes. Some bigger things will take maybe few hours, maybe a couple of days at the most.
Yeah.
So is that suppressing, or is it taking time to adjust and say it is okay that this happened?
No, that is taking your own time. And why you're taking that own time? That inner struggle, of acceptance. The ego is not ready to accept. Yeah, when the ego is high, you are not ready to accept. When the ego's guard is down, there is this inner softness. That innocent aspect of you is ready to accept. But then again, the ego's guard comes up, and that, does not let you accept. So there is this war going on in my inner environment only, between my ego guard up and ego guard down situation. Yeah, it takes me some time to realize this war, to go through the period of fire between the two, and then settle for the right one. Some people settle for the ego. That's fine, that's their choice. But we take some time. This is not suppression. This is coming to terms with it. This is your inner process. Get it?
And it's very clear when that comes up, God is down. And sometimes it goes down quickly because it's not a big thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's that struggle to put this down and say, this is okay.
Yes. This process that I'm talking about, that guard up, guard down, this is that inner sukshma kaushalyam that I'm talking about, that inner skill, subtle skill. Slowly this skill becomes so good that you won't have this struggle too long. Guard up, guard down, guard up, guard. This inner struggle will reduce in its intensity, in the duration, that is taking for you to accept things, and slowly it'll happen in an instant. And with a little more of going into the depth of spirituality, it'll stop affecting you. There'll be no ego coming up only. That ego will become your tool, just useful for doing the basic things in life, where ego is required. Yeah, That's it. It becomes your tool. But it takes that inner skill that you need to develop. Yeah? And this journey is personal. Mitesh has his own journey, Sakul has his own journey, Shalini has her own journey. Yeah? Everybody will take their own way and own methodology to reach the same destination, the same skill, the same outcome. But how Sakul reached there is Sakul's methodology, how Mitesh reached there is Mitesh's methodology, and how Shalini gets there is Shalini's methodology. Understood? Yeah. You work towards it. Beautiful question.
It's become a lot easier. A lot easier.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Now, I guess I just want to share something you said over the weekend, which actually is exactly the same thing, to let go of any hurdle or bondage to get to the freedom. There's a story of the diamond that you said, that whatever that is, even if you don't do that suppression, but just focus on it, and with awareness, you realize how that disappears. I think that connected with me, because it's like the key is awareness, and that story or something. This kind of the weekend, and I'm trying to connect the dots. So I just want to mention that the more you focus on that, if that's your diamond, if that's the one thing right now that is bothering you, you just focus on it with awareness, and it'll just slowly, it'll mean nothing. So.
Perfect. I told them the story of a diamond. You watch Bhagavad Gita 12 if you want to know the story of the diamond. For that, you will have to watch the Bhagavad Gita weekly session. So wait till you reach Bhagavad Gita 12 and get the story of the diamond that Prashanjit is talking about. Okay. So good. We'll go to page 274 next week. I won't give you homework because this gets deeper now. So we'll discuss this. Okay? I'll see you next week. Jai Gurudev.